Every day, 90,000 cars and trucks pass over a bridge that was built for $37,000. This bridge was designed before your parents were born. It has no emergency shoulder. Its lanes are so narrow that when a truck breaks down, traffic backs up 3 states. Hundreds of millions of dollars in freight are stuck on a highway because of an aging steel structure in Louisiana that most Americans have never even heard of. And for over 70 years, nobody fixed it. Today, that's finally changing. Louisiana is tearing it down and building something completely new. A $2.4 billion project, one of the biggest highway investments in state history. Let's start simple. Interstate 10 is one of the most important roads in the United States. It stretches from Los Angeles, California, all the way to Jacksonville, Florida, coast to coast, roughly 2,460 miles of highway. Along the way, it connects major ports, oil refineries, distribution centers, and millions of people. If you've ever bought something that was shipped by truck across the southern United States, there's a good chance it traveled on Interstate 10. Now, here's the interesting part. In southwest Louisiana, Interstate 10 has to cross the Calcasieu River, and the only bridge doing that job right now was built in 1952. It's a steel truss bridge, old school, narrow, steep, and it sits more than 150 feet above the water at its highest point. Every truck, every car, every delivery van going east or west on Interstate 10 has to go up that 15-story climb and back down the other side. Heavy trucks slow to an uphill crawl, then slowly descend again. And behind them, everyone else is also slowing down. This is called a choke point, and this particular one has been quietly strangling one of America's most important freight corridors for decades. Here's something that will surprise you. The federal government has a rating system for bridges, and this bridge, the one carrying 90,000 vehicles a day on a major interstate, has been classified as structurally deficient. That doesn't mean it's about to fall. It means the design no longer meets modern standards. The lanes are too narrow. There are no proper shoulders. The materials are aging. It still works, but it was never meant to carry this much traffic for this long. To put it in perspective, the bridge was designed for roughly 37,000 vehicles per day. That was the estimate back in 1952. Today, more than twice that number cross every single day, and that number keeps climbing. By the time the new bridge opens, projections suggest traffic could push past 100,000 vehicles per day. And when something goes wrong, a breakdown, a fender bender, a stalled truck near the top, the ripple effect is immediate. Traffic backs up on Interstate 10. Trucks reroute, delivery times shift, businesses feel it, people sitting in traffic feel it, and it happens regularly. Serious conversations about replacing this bridge started in the late 1990s. That's over 25 years ago. Engineers knew the problem. Officials knew the problem. The public knew the problem, and yet, for decades, nothing happened. Why? It comes down to 3 things: money, politics, and complexity. Replacing a major interstate bridge isn't just about the bridge itself. You have to coordinate with the federal government, state agencies, environmental regulators, the Army Corps of Engineers, shipping companies that use the river, local communities, and private investors. Every single one of those groups has opinions, requirements, and timelines. Then there's the money. A project this size doesn't have one funding source. It's a puzzle: state money, federal grants, private investment, and future toll revenue all stitched together over years of negotiation. The project finally reached what's called financial close in 2024. That means all the pieces were locked in, the money was committed, the contracts were signed, and construction could begin. It took roughly 25 years of planning to get to that moment. The new project isn't just a bridge. It's a total reconstruction of 5.5 miles of Interstate 10 through the Lake Charles area. The bridge is the centerpiece, but everything around it is getting rebuilt too. The new bridge will use a design called a concrete segmental box girder. Think of it like giant hollow concrete blocks built in sections and assembled piece by piece over the river. It's one of the most proven methods for building long, heavy-duty bridges, strong, durable, and designed to last for many decades. 6 main travel lanes instead of 4. Full emergency shoulders on both sides, auxiliary lanes for merging. A smoother, gentler climb over the river, so trucks don't have to slow down as dramatically. That last point matters more than you might think. When trucks can maintain steadier speeds, they don't create those sudden slowdowns that trigger chain reaction braking and congestion. The smoother the gradient, the better the traffic flows. It sounds like a small engineering detail, but it makes a massive difference in real-world driving. Beyond the bridge, the project includes rebuilt interchanges, upgraded local roads, new overpasses over railroad crossings, and modernized on-ramps and off-ramps. The whole corridor is being rethought from the ground up. And here's one of the most important parts. Construction is done in such a way that the traffic never stops completely. Cars and trucks will continue to be used throughout construction. Engineers have planned the sequence so that the new bridge will go up while the old one remains open, and only after the new crossing is completed will the old 1952 structure finally be torn down. $2.4 billion is a lot of money. To put it in perspective, that's enough to build a brand new professional sports stadium. It's more than the entire annual budget of many small countries. It is, by any measure, an enormous infrastructure investment. So who's paying for it? Louisiana chose a model called a public-private partnership, or P3. Instead of the government funding and building everything directly, private companies come in and help design, build, finance, and maintain the project over the long term. In exchange, they get a share of future toll revenue. The funding mix includes state transportation money, federal infrastructure funds, private investment, and electronic tolls that will be collected on the new bridge after it opens. But this funding model didn't happen without a fight. The decision to toll a major, historically free interstate bridge sparked massive political outrage. Lake Charles residents were furious that they would have to pay just across the river for work or shopping. It took years of intense political battles to reach a compromise that resulted in free passes for local first responders and deeply discounted fares for daily commuters. Major construction is expected to ramp up around 2026. The project is massive and will take several years to complete. The target for traffic to shift over the new bridge is sometime around 2030 or 2031. After that, the original 1952 structure will be demolished, ending more than 70 years of service on one of America's toughest roadblocks. After it opens, the corridor is expected to handle more traffic more efficiently, reduce freight delays, and improve safety for everyone using Interstate 10 through this region. Economists and planners expect it to have a ripple effect on economic development in southwest Louisiana. Better infrastructure attracts investment, and businesses that depend on highway reliability may find the area more appealing. Traffic projections suggest more than 100,000 vehicles per day within a few decades after opening. The new bridge is designed with that growth in mind. It's not built for today's traffic. It's built for the traffic this region will see in 30, 40, 50 years. Here's the big picture takeaway. There's also a ticking element to this project: safety during hurricane season. Southwest Louisiana is routinely hit by massive storms. When a hurricane threatens the coast, Interstate 10 becomes a critical evacuation route. Trying to channel tens of thousands of fleeing families through a narrow, steep 70-year-old choke point isn't just an inconvenience, it's a massive safety hazard. The gap between what infrastructure can handle and what it's actually asked to do doesn't stay invisible forever. Eventually, it shows up as traffic jams, accidents, delayed goods, and slower evacuations. Eventually, the bill comes due. The Calcasieu River Bridge replacement is Louisiana finally paying that bill. And the next time you're sitting in traffic on an interstate somewhere, wondering why this road feels like it was designed 70 years ago, it probably was. What do you think about this project? Subscribe for more updates. What do you think about this project? Is a $2.4 billion public-private partnership the smart way to fix America's aging infrastructure? Or should the government cover the entire bill without charging tolls? And more importantly, would you be nervous driving over the old Pistol Bridge? Let me know in the comments below, and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the hidden infrastructure shaping our world.